Good evening, and come with me while I talk about my nature walks and things that I bumped into and took a picture of. The first image I have was from my first forest bathing when I described a leaning tree trying to listen to the students. Later on that day, I had ran into a woolly bear caterpillar, which I did not know was poisonous, I guess. So I kind of stay away from them now. And then later on that night, I ran into a slug. For forest bathing number 2, we went to a forest bathing therapy session, and later on that day I found a picture of deer because I forgot to take a picture during the therapy session. Forest bathing number 3, I took a picture of the squirrel, which I had realized like all the squirrels kind of blend in with the asphalt. And then here's a squirrel growing down the tree that I managed to take a video of. Forest bathing journal number 4 was to focus on a vision more, and my vision was sight. And then I took a video of the trees because it looked like it was giving off an illusion. Here's some burnt bark that I had found and took a picture of, which left kind of like a cool pattern. And then this tree I found interesting because I felt like the bark surrounding it was like rolled up toilet paper if like you didn't use and you try to roll it back up again. I found a moth that same day as well, because I had went to Oakland Camp for this first bathing journal. And then I also found a rock that had rough edges and a cool pattern. This is a video of deer fighting out front of my door, or where I live, because I think the last for this bathing picture we had to send in was week 4. So these pictures, videos that are going to be coming along now are just things that I found interesting that I wanted to incorporate into my video. This is a tree bark that fell off and moss grew out of it. I'm guessing moss grew out of it when it was on the tree, and then here's moss on a rock, which I thought was cool. I think moss is quite found on everything over here in Quincy. Here's a frog that was close to my door, not on my door, but close to my door, and look at the bumps. I think it's cool. Here's another frog that's actually climbing, which I thought was kind of cool too, because I've never seen a frog climb. I've only seen it jumped. And this is a frog that got ran over in our parking lot at school with his tongue sticking out. So that's also cool. And then obviously the weather's getting colder, so I have pictures of trees with the leaves changing. This one's a smaller tree. This one's a bigger tree, which I thought was pretty. One side's like more green than the other, but you could tell like it's ombreing off into a reddish orange. This tree was more red. The leaves were more red compared to the others, which I'm assuming is because it kind of gets more shade than the others, so it's colder. And then here's a picture of the horse in the previous photo, just better. And then I took pictures of trees that are growing things. This tree is next to the gymnasium, and it grows off berries. I see birds eat off of it all the time. And then this is a tree with apples growing out of it. You can see one apple very clearly. I kind of have a bad glare. This photo is a camouflage deer, which I managed to take a picture of before it ran away. And then here's more deer outside my window eating the apples growing off of my tree. The apple tree was not my apple tree, but growing off the tree in front of my front house. Kind of long video. And then on my last recent hike, I ran into this bench that's covered with leaves. So this bench has been here a long time. I didn't sit on it. And then I took a picture of this missing bark in a tree. I thought it was cool. And then the bark is kind of really rough. And then the fog. The fog here in Quincy goes crazy, which I think is cool. Kind of gives off Twilight vibes. So you could barely see the mountain. And that's everything. Thank you for listening.